slow down. Lay your burden down.
Hey, welcome to Divergent Paths with Dan Dunford, episode number 24. I'm Dan Dunford, the host, and happy February, I guess. I'm recording this on Sunday, so it's not quite February, but when you're listening to this, it definitely will be. And that's probably enough talking about the month. So, how's it going? You doing good? You playing music? You listening to music? 'Cause I sure am. Tonight I'll be going out to hear the guest that was on last week's episode, and then again on this week's episode in part 2, PitchBlak Brass Band. Tonight is PitchBlak playlist out at Manhattan Inn, and we talk about that in the interview, and I'm going to see it in just a few minutes as soon as I finish this up. Well, if you heard last week's episode, well, you know who PitchBlak Brass Band is to some extent. They're an incredible hip-hop group, brass band, with a lot of really great people in it, and this is part 2 of that interview. We don't really let up. Chanel and TJ and Ben were all great guests, and we talked more about music and about culture and in brass playing and in music, and Chanel spoke for a while about being a woman in a brass playing world, which is dominated by men, and I was really happy to talk to her about that kind of that issue, and it was just I can't emphasize it enough. These guys are just a really great group and really fun people to hang with, and I hope you enjoy part 2 of our interview. Kind of starts abruptly where we left off, but we talked. We had a lot of fun, and I really hope you enjoy the second half. Like I said, they're doing their PitchBlak playlist tonight at Manhattan Inn. They do that every month out at Manhattan Inn in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So if you're in the city, go check that out. In addition, they have, like I mentioned last week, this week, February 4th, they're playing with Pharoah Monch at Merkin Concert Hall on 67th Street, and it's going to be awesome. So go to that. And so I'm featuring 2 tracks from them this week because I just love their music so much. Before the second part of the interview, their song "Get It and Run," and then at the end, I think what is my favorite of their songs off their first album, "You See Us," which is from a few years ago. It's called "The Light," and it features Jackie Morales, and it's awesome. Check them out on iTunes and Amazon and all those places. Their first album is called "You See Us," and they have their most recent single, "Like Us." I was on the podcast last week. You can find that on iTunes. It's from just a few months ago. Get into it, and follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter. It's facebook.com/divergentpathspod, and on Twitter it's @divergentpod. Send me an email, divergentpathspod@gmail.com, if you have any, comments, but if you have comments and such, review the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. Talk to you guys next week. Actually, that's not entirely true. I'll be releasing an episode on Thursday as part of my Radical Brass partnership, so even sooner than next Monday. Enjoy the podcast, guys.
Not feeling pitch black, really? Is you kidding me? Don't you hear the flow? Don't you hear the delivery? More flavor than hickory. The reason they be picking me, cause I max it out, then I kill that shit literally. They say I walk around like I ain't got no flaws, cause I'm kinda like sushi, hot wasabi, plus I'm raw. On this microphone with the gift of gab. a challenge. What you know about flavor, baby? Go and check your palate. Heavy metal, rock and roll, hip hop, metallic shit.
I love Tora Imoa and I like watch. I kind of delve into like watching a shit ton of interviews of Toro, and like I read a lot of interviews on him and like kind of just to get to see who he is as a person. And one of the things that he like mentioned is that he does a lot of different music. He does rock. He does the whole R&B like chill wave thing, and he does he just like put out a hip hop kind of like album, I guess, on SoundCloud not too long ago, right after his rock album. So he was just saying that he loves complex music and he loves interesting, obscure music, but he's always wanted and been interested in like making accessible music. Like, and that's a challenge in itself, people don't like realize that, but that's a challenge in itself to like write a pop tune. That's a challenge.
People especially in classical circles, people assume that that's just like easy. Like I could do that in 15 minutes on my weekend, and it's like, have you tried?
Yeah.
Like just because you're not writing 21st century music doesn't mean
right.
It's not doesn't mean that it's easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, there's tons of really shitty pop music. It's just like you hear stuff and you're just like, there's no melody, there's no hook. There's no the chorus is just as bad as the verse. And it's like. So, like, I don't know why it's put into that category of being easy. Because there's not, you hear a lot. I mean, it's accessible. That's what it is. It's like people, it's around me all the time. So it's like, this must be easy because everyone's doing it or they think everyone's doing it.
Well, even from a, classical perspective, like we've all spent a lot of time studying classical music, like, there's a danger of... a lot of 20th century music, a lot of 21st century music, it's just, it might be good. I'm sure it's good. Whatever. But it's hard to listen to. It's a difficult balancing act. And this is a theme that comes up in a lot of my interviews, is that it's a very difficult balancing act to make something that's new and innovative, but also appeals to a wide audience. It's very difficult.
I think that from what I've learned as a musician, I'm very lucky and I've learned how to listen. Like a lot of stuff, John Cage came up with a lot of stuff back in the day. It's basically trying to get the listener to understand that it's all about them. Like my little cousin can't sit down and listen to a symphony. And I couldn't either. I had to learn how. Like one of my solos talks about, he didn't even listen to jazz like when he was younger. He didn't really, he was down with pop music. But he had to like learn how to listen to it. And I feel like these days you gotta trick the listener into like listening. To like connect with it on that very personal level. Like, it's kind of hard to explain. Basically, it's all about the experience. I think. When I play like free music, or sometimes I got some free jazz musicians I play with. They're trying to explain to me how to solo in free jazz. They're like, no, you're doing it wrong. I'm like, how can I be doing it wrong? It's free jazz. Like, they're like, nah, it's about the emotion. And then one day it clicked, and I was like, wow, we were recording some stuff. I'm like, wow, okay.
You're not feeling right.
Yeah, you're not feeling right, because honestly I wasn't. I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
Well, yeah, you have to completely you have to completely let yourself be submerged in the sound and the emotion of what's going on, and if you're just coming in and being like, oh yeah, it's free jazz, I can do whatever I want, like, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, because people are listening, you know, and some of the free jazz musicians are like the most ridiculous technical musicians I know. They just don't play that way on purpose. But the challenge for like appealing to a wide audience is you only have the first note, the first couple of bars to catch their ear, to make it interesting. So how are you going to do that? And that's the biggest challenge, like Chanel was saying. Like, for me, sometimes my writing process, like I sit and I improv on like an organ or like whatever, and I get ideas, little snippets.
You just said organ?
Organ, yeah. Just making sure. but sometimes when I write, it's just too complicated, because like, you know, coming from like when I used to practice more jazz and stuff, like complex chords, you know, like this sounds cool, and sometimes it's not cool. Like, it's like you don't need the 13, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a story.
Oh,
yo. You may have to cut this out.
That's fine.
But in terms of what TJ, what we're saying here is like, I think like being honest with your music, and just like what Chanel was saying with having the emotion be the complex part of the piece, I think that goes a really long way in pop music. I mean, it's, you know, and that's going to be accessible, because like you're not the only person feeling that way. You know, you're going to have a wide range of people feeling this way that you're writing for, you know? So, but you hear shit, you're just like, that makes no sense. Because it doesn't, it's just...
There's no reason why
there's no reason
there.
Other than being like...
Hip.
Like, I'm going to use this big word because I want you to think something about me.
Right.
Well, and it's
Right.
like
there's no reason. It's like
it's okay to do that. You can do these things, but you have to build. You have to build.
There has to be
There has to be things around it that complement it. If it's just there and it's just like, there's no fucking reason. Like, we're having a conversation with Kirsten at McDonald's and shit about fries, and you want to use a fucking big ass word right now. There's no reason why, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hypotenuse.
Look at the swath of French fries.
Like, no, you know, there has to be like,
or basically, like, I know a lot of times, I'm not real rag on sax players, but I know sax players who play very well. But there's some young sax players, you know, you go to high schools and stuff, they think that, like, you know, playing a lot of notes is cool. I'm going to run all these scales I learned. You know, like, but there's just no emotional content.
Yeah, that's something that came up when we did the show with the Lovelies. We're talking about improvisation, and you guys have improvisation in some of your songs. Improvised solos, trumpet, trombone, sax. Like, you know... It's a difficult thing, because you can show off all of your technique, but if you're just playing a bunch of scales, who gives a shit? Yeah. Like, honestly, though.
No one's going to give a shit besides your teacher. And, and he's not there.
Like,
you know?
Someone will be like, oh, wow, that guy's playing a lot of fast notes, but what? There's nothing there. I'm not going to connect. Sure, put fast notes in a solo, sure. Yeah. But I'm not going to connect just a bunch of scales over.
Yeah. But how do you get to those fast notes? You know, are you playing melodies or just long lines before that too? And then like they turn into something that complements what you just played before. It's like you know, you can't like
it's possible. It's
definitely possible. But it's very easy to do it tastelessly.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it. It's hard to do it good.
That might be the best thing here. It's very easy to do it tastelessly, because we're not saying, hey, PitchBlak says don't play fast notes. You know.
Hold up those footballs.
No, but like I PitchBlak most actually, I'm gonna say every solo that I played, it was written out. There's different variations. Like, for instance, like Virus, I play that solo every single time. The reason for that, the reason why I don't improvise over that, everyone else, and I think the other people who solo in that piece, they sort of play variation. But the reason why I play that exactly the same way, first of all, is because that's what I want to hear. Like, and I wrote it like literally when I was about to record that. You know, I improvised it in the studio, but it's just I see it as like a melody of that tune, that solo. You know, it's like I see it as something that is going to be recognizable. You know, or it's going to be, or I want it to become recognizable. You know, because there's a lot of guitar solos where it's like, or there's a lot of groups like our group, like where it's either rock, hip hop, where you like love a song, and like for me as a guitar player, like I want to see that person play the guitar solo, you know, and then they don't play it. I like seriously want to leave.
You're so upset. Yeah.
Want to leave, and I'm just, or they play the solo, and then the part that you love the most, they switch it up a little bit, and you're like, oh.
I've been to so many shows where I'm like, oh, they're trying to be creative.
Yeah.
I just want to hear the fucking song on the record, you know, like, yeah.
So there's a lot of that in there, but then you know, there's like, but also you know, I come from, you know, I like that. I like hearing.
And when it comes to guitar is a different beast than you.
But some people would completely disagree. They're like, you know, fuck that. I'm not gonna play the same thing over and over. But you know, that's not. But that's like.
I wonder how the Rolling Stones feel about that.
I mean, I guess like in our
like
genre,
we're playing the same
way, especially in our group too. Mm-hmm. People are.
I have to say something just to be clear because I feel like, you know, talking about somebody like Adele, right? Like you could just tell, like, it doesn't matter what her race is. She has been impacted by something emotionally, and we all have, right? But not all of us know how to like translate that into music. Mm-hmm. So like, no matter if like someone else sang Adele's music, whatever, the same song, the same lyrics, it's not going to come across the same way because her voice. And maybe it is simply just her timbre. Maybe we could say she has no emotion, she has no nothing, she hasn't been through nothing, it's just her timbre voice, whatever. But that how she's singing is like, no one else could sing it like her. Mm-hmm. No matter, and it doesn't matter because she's big, she's small, she's skinny, she's fat. It doesn't matter. That emotion and that pure rawness of her voice gets me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so let's transfer that to music, which is like, we have no words. Like, we have to be like extra with our emotions because we have no words. Humans are relating to words. That's why singers are so popular. And so as a musician, and we try to do this other things that like other humans can't relate to. Like most humans not going to relate to like, you know, they're not going to relate to that. So how can you like, and it's like, it's not about being black, but like, this is how I experience it is that you have to have something to say that's going to reach across to someone else's soul. And most of the time when people are playing those kind of souls and stuff, it's not getting there. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe like, you know, that just happened. But like, it's not going to be like resonate besides like, let's say there was like a heavily obese, like black, you know, saxophone player sitting on stage. Like if that person is playing like fast notes, you're not going to be interested at all. We have to understand that there's so many different reasons why someone might say that person sounded good. And it's not always about the sound. Right. There's so many other, there's image, there's so many other things like happening right there. You know what I'm saying? Like a little poke in the pants because this person, you know what I'm saying? Like we have to realize that all those we're sensing all those things. But if we want to boil it down to like straight the music, like Jennifer Hudson, you know what I'm saying? Like Adele, I'm using two people that like were at some point in their career slightly larger. And people might say, oh, they're not Beyonce, but they blow Beyonce out of the water every single time.
I saw Jennifer Hudson live.
Every single time, because you know what I'm saying, they have something there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I'm talking about when I talk about that. Is like when people do things because they think it's hip, but like I always want people in like every group that I'm part of or any music that I create, it's always about getting to like the deeper connection of that person. And some people just won't allow you there. Some people just don't want you to talk to them in a way that to like allow them to express themselves. Some people close off completely. But some people, when you work with them, you could tell them something and be like, hey, you know, this and that. And they're like, okay, I got you. You know, I understand what you're trying to say. And I think that's what composing has always been about. Composing has always been, how can I get this person that I don't know, that I maybe, I meeting for the first time, how can I get them to express my music? And I think like that is what it's all about. And I think that, in the 21st century, we're all about jumping through hoops and doing Olympics and shit, And I think if we could get through just being a soulful person again and a real person instead of like, let me see if I could jump over, like run this fast and do this and do that, like all this athletic stuff, that's the thing, I feel, because there's a running joke in PitchBlak that I don't like jazz. So I got to clear it up.
This is literally like 5 years of just
5 years.
Just being like, I just want you to play a line. I just want to hear a melody. It's like, no. It's like,
Chanel doesn't like jazz.
I mean, it's interesting because I remember growing up, my jazz mentors, they'll be like, look, you don't have to play like 3 or 4 choruses. Just say what you have to say in one. Because there's a part when I was younger, I was like, yeah, I'm the shit. One dude came to high school. I was like, playing first in jazz. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to nail this solo. He's like, you're not playing anything. What are you doing? I was like so embarrassed. I thought I was like putting in work, and after that, I was like, fuck. There's more to this music than just like technical. I could play fast all day on the trombone, but I feel more comfortable playing like 2 or 3 blue notes,
Yeah,
and milking them, It's because that's how I feel inside. Like, I definitely have had the blues on a number of occasions, So that's what I connect with.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes when I'm listening to modern jazz, I had this discussion with my friend who's a free jazz musician. He's like, I hate fucking modern jazz. It's like, it's getting so stupid sometimes. Like, but the people who play it the way I like, they never get away from like the blues, like swing, Just how like Charlie Parker, like people don't realize like he was a blues player.
Yeah.
It was so steeped in that. So when he played fast things, you're like, wow. But if you like break it down, slow it down, it's like, wow, that was soulful.
Yeah.
That wasn't just like, it was like, and that makes the whole, that's the essence of jazz music. It's not like, I've talked to many older people. They're just like, man, I hate that jazz got into schools. They feel like the spirit is dead now. All these kids come out, they can play their instruments. They have no soul. They didn't really find themselves as musicians. They just kind of went with the program. Of course, like their ears got better. They can, that's a diminished 5 chord with a sharp, 600, whatever. But they don't have that like life experience,
Yeah.
And that something to connect it to, I love seeing musicians that you just know, like, man, I know he went to something. As soon as they walk on stage.
Well, and it all comes back to this whole, like, whether it's jazz, whether it's hip hop, like it's like the best of it is born out of life experience and community. Like we're going through this together. Right.
Yeah.
So, we're getting there.
Yeah.
There was one kind of thing I did want to bring up, and feel I don't, if you don't want to talk about things, it's fine. Like I can't, like it's I can't. No. Okay, traditionally,
don't tell me what
being in a female fronted band, like right now, like it's getting more and more like people having issues with being described as a female musician or a male musician or that kind of thing. Why can't we just all be musicians? And in hip hop specifically, you go back right this year because of the success of Straight Outta Compton. Like NWA is like everyone's like listeing to them again. It's been a long time. And you go back and listen to that. So was it 1989, 88, 89? You got. These great tracks. You got the Boys in the Hood. You got Eazy-E, and you got Straight Outta Compton. You got Fuck the Police, and these are all like huge, influential, like world-changing songs that are tracks that push the culture in a specific direction. On the other hand, if you go back and you listen to the rest of NWA's record, there's some gnarly shit on there, like misogynistic, homophobic, like just like some of the worst, you know, some of this like, and it ends up being like a complicated legacy. So, you know, like this is a, you know, this is an art form that has traditionally been kind of in that vein, like you know, as far as popular as it's been, and now like now you're fronting your own hip hop band, and you're kind of like in that same, like you said, hip hop encompasses so much, like, and it progressed faster than any other art form. Like, do you still run into issues like that? I'm just curious because I just don't know. You know, like you're especially when you're like down south or wherever,
right?
Like, oh, this girl's running her own hip hop group. Like, what's her deal?
Well, I would have to say, first of all, many people don't think I'm the band leader. I have to put that out.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because I think it's just exactly what you said. We live in a male-dominated world.
Right.
You know.
You mean just like no? I was like
yeah.
A lot of people don't know. That you're,
like
you mean like when we're just like
other people. You know, regular people that see us for the first time. And also, I'm playing tuba. I'm playing the bass. You know, and even though I'm sitting in front of the band, you know, it's not always a direct connection. But that's a really complicated question they ask.
I know, like, I
just
want to know, like, your experience with this kind of thing, because like you said, it's complicated. It's complicated legacy. There's so much to it, and I don't get to talk to people about things like this that often.
Man, I could spend so much time on this. I'm just trying to figure out where to start. You know,
podcast number 2.
Yeah,
3 hours.
I'm trying to figure out where to start. Like, oh man, like.
I think we touched upon this at Brick on the TV a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about it. Like, if you want to talk about it.
I would love to talk about it.
You know, because it's something that doesn't get addressed as often as it should.
It's true. I just, man, okay, well.
I mean, I was saying that just to
get my mind rolling again.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I guess, you know, people can't see me, but, you know, I'm black.
She's black. Verified. And she's female.
I like to think that black people have different voices. So I don't know, maybe people already knew I was black. Anyhow, so I'm a black woman who happens to be gay as well, and I play the tuba. I play one of the largest instruments in the brass family. And
when you play with PitchBlak, you're generally playing a sousaphone, which is even more,
bigger,
like even more in your face.
Yeah. So you know, so number one thing is that growing up, and I'm sure TJ has, I'm sure Chris has been going through classical music. You've gotten a lot of very in your face, like, wow, this person's black, like she's black. You know?
Hey, did you know you're black?
Hey, you know. So I don't even need to like
particularly in classical music.
Particularly in classical music,
extremely white.
So you know, I don't want to like jump into like those instances. We don't have to jump into like those specific instances, but we've had a lot of that, obviously. But I've also like that means I've been playing in groups with like mostly white men, and mostly like white men that have like really complex you know, masculine what do you say,
psyches?
Like, like they you know, there's some like discomfort about their masculinity. So me being a woman there, first of all, playing the tuba is something somewhat challenging for some people, and then also that means I'm in the midst of how men have conversations, right? About women, and sometimes about female musicians. So now that you get into this whole like musician thing, I just read, oh my God. I just saw on Facebook the other day about like some woman in some band that is very popular. I don't remember the name of. Their manager, like, you know, harassed them, and some white male is posting this on their Facebook. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm happy that men are like aware of these issues, but these issues have been happening forever. And I'm happy that men now are like really trying to be more conscious of like what actually goes on in the music industry. But we have to understand, like, and I saw another white man there that is he's a trombone player and really cool guy, that says something like, but you have to understand that we contribute to that as well. And it starts here. It starts with the individual. It's not because this douchey like guy over there did that, but I'm not like that. But like, I've been on so many gigs where I'm the only woman there. I'm the only black person there. And I'm like, why aren't other men like my colleagues calling other women to be playing? Why? There's, and people always going to have something to say, oh, they can't blow, they're not loud enough, this and that, whatever. They don't call them. They don't call them because at the end of the day, when they're hanging out and they're drinking at the end of the night, which is apparently the brass players' rule. This is how they. Yeah. This is how we network. Right. Getting drunk after gigs. This is how males network. Mm-hmm. And if for some reason you're a woman and that's not what you do, like for example, I don't drink very often. Mm-hmm. I just don't. I have business to take care of, and as a woman, I need to take care of business. Right. So I can't just be like out there at night until like 2:00 in the morning, you're getting wasted just so I can make a connection with a guy to possibly ask me to come to play a gig. So there's many layers to it, which I can't really jump into. But this is a public service announcement: hire women. Just do it. Yeah. Just do it. And if they're not drinking with you at night and they're not going to be your buddy or they're not going to be a sex buddy or whatever the fuck, just fucking do it. Just hire a goddamn woman and things will be better. Like that's as simple as I can make it for most males. Mm-hmm. But males have this inner complexity with sexuality when it comes to women, and they feel like, so I'm in an interesting place. I'm a woman that's very, I think a strong-minded woman. And I know what I want. Mm. And so when men are around me or I have to work with men, sometimes it becomes a very interesting relationship. And it's most of the times it is a relationship that they can't really handle because they don't know how to address it.
They haven't been around women.
Right.
They haven't grown up with women.
They haven't grown up with women or, a black woman specifically too. So it's either men are very interested in sexualizing women, which is a lot easier for them. And I'm saying this, men could connect. Guys could correct me, but I assume that it's much easier to work with women as a man if you sexualize them and you kind of put them down a step and kind of say, oh, she's pretty and she's cool to hang out with, and she also does this, like she plays an instrument or she works this job, but she's in a certain category in that person's mind, which is making it somewhat easier for them to kind of relate to their relationship with that person. Mm-hmm. With other people, like a gay black woman that, there's no sense of sexuality there for them. And now this person is, telling them what to do. It becomes a very interesting dynamic that is really hard and that I struggle with constantly. And I don't know how to really describe it, but when you're a female band leader, you're working with men and you're working with women, it becomes really difficult, I think, at some points to kind of figure out how to assert yourself. Nicki Minaj has said it. Many women have said it. When you assert yourself, people will find you to be a bitch. If a male were to do it, they were like, well, at least he said something. At least he stood up for himself. He was a man. So you're playing all of these different angles, and it's really difficult because you don't really have that many people to mentors. Mm-hmm. Most of my mentors have been men. So it's like it's a very interesting place to be at. And within hip hop, I'm emailing rappers all the time, and my name is Chanel. Like, it's obvious I'm a woman, and I'm emailing them and they're like, whoa, this is a woman here, things are changing, like I mentioned before, but there's still a lot of to have a woman rapping, to have a woman being gay and rapping, there's a lot of different things going on. And I think that it's getting easier, but it's really complicated to really build community, I think, being the kind of woman I am. I'm not I'm not the kind of woman who's I'm not getting called on gigs because I'm going to look pretty on a TV show, or, I'm going to wear this skirt. I'm going to get called because they know that I could do that well. Mm. And I'm not saying that people who do get called for those kind of things aren't good players. I've seen they're amazing, but I'm saying that like there's a different level to how men and like the music industry is gonna have to interact with a woman like me. Yeah. And I don't think most men are like prepared for that, and I don't think
storm the gates.
Yeah,
that's basically
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know, but like I hope I kind of answered your question.
Yeah. I just kind of wanted to just hear what you had to say about it, because like I said, I'm just was curious because you're in a unique position in a straight white male dominated industry, kind of you know what I mean?
Yeah, the music industry is not geared towards women to be part of it, not at all. It's a man hang. It's everything about it is about being bros and hanging out, and I don't think many women are capable of really putting in that type of energy that men are able to in order to be successful in that way. And I think, for me, I've just had the idea, whereas I'll just work as hard as I possibly can, and hopefully that will speak for itself. But yeah, I mean I could I could talk forever about it, but yeah.
Men are disgusting creatures.
I feel like...
No, I mean that. That's like,
I don't know. It's people... I just... I don't know. I just... Sometimes I just don't get why you just can't treat everyone with respect.
Yeah.
And
some people just don't have respect for themselves.
It's really terrible. Like,
I don't know. I try my best to do that, and it's hard for me to understand.
For me, when I'm at gigs that are outside of what I'm usually doing, and a woman walks in, she could be attractive, or what? Just a woman walking in, guys instantly. I'll be in a group. Yeah, I'll be like in a group, and I'll just be like, oh god, like what is wrong with these people around me? That I see like them just start like salivating for no reason. It's like, to me, it's like I'm used to working with women. I'm used to or I know how to separate myself from like work and my sexual desires. Or something. And I'm not gonna like see, oh, there's a woman on the work floor right now. Let me go talk to her because I am attracted to her. I'm not gonna.
You need anything? Need some coffee?
It is fucked up. And maybe I either try to change the subject, or I'm just like, or I just like stare at them blankly. I'm like, I don't even answer them, or I don't like respond to their things that they say or whatever. I'm just like, yeah. So, what piece are we playing?
So how about that conductor?
And then I'm like,
I'm not saying like, a lot of people think that lesbians or gay women think that men are like terrible.
No.
No. I'm just saying this for me because I put it out there that I'm gay, and I don't want people to walk away from this thinking, well, she's gay, she hates men. And actually, it's the opposite. I prefer to hang around men because, they're less emotionally complex most of the time than women. And it's just a little bit easier to kind of navigate, certain things. And, I tend to fit in more of like a masculine type of, center anyhow. So I'm not saying that like, men are all crazy. I just think that it has to start with you, like as an individual. And I think when you realize that you have as big of a hand in it as some other person, that's where we could actually start getting things done.
It's just it's really interesting because brass playing is probably the most analogous in the music world to
the beers and bros and guts.
Well, no, I was gonna say to like a sport, the mentality of the men who are brass players. Right.
It's a team.
It's a team, and you gotta muscle through this
until they beat somebody.
I mean, but it's the most analogous. I mean,
totally.
I just mean mentality wise, not necessarily like physicality.
That's definitely as a brass player growing up. That's my teacher. He's a white guy. He's like a couple inches taller than me, and huge, But like, I always got this sense of like, bro, And then we had like some female players. I remember being very young, and I hadn't really experienced like a female brass player before. And I was like, what? And like, I just had to learn how to like, oh, it's fine. She can play better than most of the people I know. And actually, even further than that, I guess I did have experience with a female player. She, my friend, she's very talented at the euphonium. She was like the best one in the band. It took me so long to catch up with her. And everybody would her being like beautiful and like being this player, I'm sure she got like, had a bunch of experience. She's like, oh gosh, like, young teens with hormones just constantly trying to get at her or whatever. And when I got older, it's just like being in that environment. I mean, because it annoys me sometimes. It's like, I don't always want to hang out and stuff. I mean, I love a good hang. But it's like, man, wow. I look around, it's like, it really is all white males. I'm like, oh, jeez. And but that's just what it was, like, especially in New York, trying to get into certain gigs, trying to play on Broadway, trying to play anything. You got to go through the steps. You're like, this is my friend. Like, hey, how you doing? go sit over there. All right, I'll be with you shortly. You got to like work your way in, you say something cool, like, oh, he's a cool guy. You want to drink again? All right. And it's like, it's so annoying sometimes because you see people who might not play better than you, but they're getting all these gigs because they're just there.
Not just because they're there, man. We talked about this before. It's like people are going to give gigs to their friends.
Oh, yeah,
and all their real friends are white. Like, let's just be honest.
True. A lot of people don't have black friends.
Like, no.
Black female friends.
Most of the people that we know, their black friends are us.
Yes, that is very
And we're
true.
not really their friends. I mean, let's be real. I mean, they're not gonna call us for a gig.
But I mean, I guess kind of like the comparison I was drawing to sports and brass is
This is gonna be a special snow day
Yes.
podcast. 8 hours.
You'll never leave.
But I mean, because right now, like the Buffalo Bills just hired a female coach full time.
Really?
First one.
Crazy.
Yeah, and there's been all sorts of crazy pushback because it's a woman.
What?
Players saying stuff because it's a woman. And then, recently...
but there was
coaches on the WNBA.
There was a woman coach in college? Because I remember hearing
there was a preseason coach. And there was a woman who did preseason for Arizona.
I really don't watch the
And then also, in the past couple months, there was the issue, I don't know if you follow basketball, but, the issue with Rajon Rondo, like, calling out a gay referee, like, slur on the court. And he was out, but like it was just like not to everyone. Like, and it's we kind of deal with similar issues in the brass community. It just doesn't get the play because obviously brass playing doesn't bring in billions of dollars a year. But it's interesting to see similar situations because brass has historically been white and male, white, straight, and male. I mean, in music community, like gay culture is a lot more prevalent than in professional sports, but it's still an issue there, especially when you have guys coming from places like the South. Yeah, it's just a really there's not a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be someone on ESPN this weekend talking about like this brass section and this orchestra, talking about playoff games. But, I just it was something I wanted to.
Yeah, Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra, that whole thing that went down. Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra.
See, I know about these things in sports, but I don't know about what happened with Jazz Lincoln Center.
Well, I can't speak like to it really, but I just know that there's no woman in that orchestra. Winton handpicked those guys, and people were protesting that there should be a little change up of how it runs there, and so I think they made that change, right? That's not really something that like I would be like, I'm gonna go protest on that front. I mean, all my protesting is done like in actuality. Like, I'm gonna be a practical protester. Like, I'm gonna actually make this happen instead of like, I want to join you guys' club. You don't want me? Okay, I'll just do my own thing.
Let's play PitchBlak show.
Yeah,
that's pretty much. I feel like a lot of times.
And guess what? You can pay to see me.
Yeah, right. A lot of times we finish a show, everybody comes up to me and they're like, "Oh wow, you got girls in the band. You got white rappers. This is awesome." They see Chanel like, "Did you see her tuba?" And she was doing. Chanel's usually like, she has the heaviest instrument. She's like the most.
She's like fucking dancing around.
No, it's great.
It's incredible, and it's crazy to see people's outlook. You know what they gravitate to on stage, and us just coming out like that, just like a diverse band like we are. That in itself is a protest.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We show up to a lot of spaces like the other band we play with is all males, and then they see us, they're like, "Wow, I might stay and listen to these guys." Because I'm sick of just seeing all bros. Like, you know. But you're not saying, you know, bands we play with are amazing. But it's just
it's
like comfort zone, pressing that button.
Yeah, it's like a progression of we're a progressive group of everything that has been fucked up or wrong, like in the world in music and what we're talking about now is like
so everything that's wrong with music, PitchBlak is the answer.
Yes. I feel like we're like sort of this group that is the outcome of, you know, I don't know, this may be wrong, but the outcome of like what people fought for in the past. You know, it's like we're able to have women in our group and a diverse group, people that come from different races, cultures, and backgrounds. You know, and I think, and we're playing music that has rich history, but we are in addition to that. You know, we are bringing it. To that.
This is what we're bringing to this line.
For instance, we played at the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival last year with Common, and that was huge for us. And I'm assuming the brass world, though nobody, you know, it's the brass world. It's not the sports world.
No one knew about it.
Nobody knew about it.
And so everyone in the brass world's like, who is Common?
Right. They're
Was
like,
he in that movie with Denzel?
Yes, exactly. So I mean, for us in the hip hop world, you know, hip hop, there's always been like haters. That's how hip hop works. They're like, prove to me that you're good. You know, prove to me that you can do this. Like, so for us to be able to break that barrier, for me, I was just so happy. Like seeing like the people I look up to on stage. Who else came to Mobb Deep? Like something real deep. And I think that the more we get out there, more kids are going to be like, hey, I could do that. Like, because when I was growing up, I was the hugest band nerd. And I'm still a music geek, and I always repped it so hard. And like, I really didn't care. But some kids I knew, like, they're like, nah, like, I don't really want to accept this. I'm like, all right, fine, do your thing. And like, it wasn't okay for them. You know, I've had people tell me, you know, what do you listen to? I remember one of those trips when I was younger. Like, what do you listen to? What do you listen to? John Williams? Turn that off, you know? I'm like, but it makes me happy. But then at the same time, I listen to like some hardcore hip hop, and they're like, yeah, you listen to that. You're still lame, but I'm glad. You know, it's like it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay to just be like to do your thing, like to be free. Like Chanel was talking about the black community. It wasn't like a lot of music today. People would not listen to that back then. I don't think Drake would be accepted in the 90s.
Hell no.
Unless he was on Degrassi.
That's some crazy thing, and like,
and even then they put him in a wheelchair.
Exactly. And like the music, like I grew up, I was with the alternative black group. Like we still had like mad ghetto black families and like, you know, people we knew, but we were artists, you know, and we always make CDs. My friend, she would like throw like some hip hop, some like rock, some POD maybe, the Mortal Kombat theme. You know, like everything that made us happy. We're like, we connect to this. And like I remember like we had to bring in CDs, like it was like share your music in jazz band. And my friend, black guy, he's like, yo, you gotta listen to this track. Zanzibar by Billy Joel. It's like the realest thing.
It's a good song.
And I was like banging my head. I'm like, why is this so awesome to me?
It's such a great song.
I'm not supposed to quote unquote be listening to it because I'm a young black kid.
Yeah.
You know, but like, music is an amazing thing like that. It doesn't even matter. Like if it's hot, it's hot. Yeah. You know? So
yeah.
Yeah, the trumpet solo on Zanzibar is...
Oh, yeah, right?
So, you know, we're going to start, like, wrapping this up a little bit. So, the PitchBlak playlist has come up a couple times over the course of what we're talking about, you know, and the next one is... The next one's on the 31st, and it's at... I know where it is. Manhattan Inn?
Yes.
It's at Manhattan Inn, in Williamsburg, of course, not in Manhattan.
Yep.
And so, like, what kind of we've covered it a little bit. We touched on it a couple times, but what do you guys do with PitchBlak playlists? You bring in other artists.
Yeah. So basically, like with the PitchBlak playlist, like we get a different artist every month. What we do is we work with them and we arrange their songs. So we take their hottest tracks and we arrange their songs with a horn section, and then we kind of put on a big show for them, like at the end of the month. And on top of that, we play like some of our original music, and then we have an open mic, like a jam session at the end. So it's like, this cool thing. And basically, like, why we started this is to like get more in touch with the hip hop community. Like have them see that, we're there to support them and like work with them and just collaborate. It's really just a big collaboration, and it's something that I think we've been wanting to do for a while, and we're in our second year now. So this opportunity now to like be presented by Hypnocraft and work with the people at Manhattan Inn, it's just been a really great opportunity, and it's kind of like revamped our whole spirit about it, because it's just, it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work, and these guys could tell you because, TJ he's basically like hosting the whole thing. That's like his job. But like these guys could tell you they arrange a lot of music in the band. These guys are arranging the bulk of the music for Pharaoh Monch, which is like, really intense, really amazing music. But every month it's a challenge. I choose a person in the band, whether or not they have finale or they never arrange music. It's now been a thing where like everyone in the band is arranging music every month. And this is your job now, Ashley Bear. She's the one arranging this the first month.
Our drummer.
Yeah, our drummer. She's arranging. Yeah,
it sounds awesome.
It sounds great, and she's a very kind of like in a perfectionist mindset. She's a percussionist. I mean, what percussionist isn't being a perfectionist? So, and her charts sound really great, and but it was her job to arrange 10 songs, for the month of January. So
that's a huge amount of work.
It's a huge amount.
Some of it is like,
and if you're not as used to doing it, it can be. But really, in that case, like all of a sudden you've got like a complete band full of people who are killers on their instrument and can just arrange the shit out of something.
Yeah,
We're
pushing ourselves constantly, and this is the PitchBlak playlist is like kind of like you're still in school kind of mentality, but not really. We have fun, but like we're pushing people don't realize this, but PitchBlak, the things that we do and have our hands dipped in is like we're constantly pushing ourselves to do better and to do more, like to do more things, not just play the horn.
Yeah, and you can, and of course, and I didn't even think about this before. It's like, it's easy when you have a band of any kind. You can get into the rut of playing the same 8 songs at every gig. You might be playing, 3 gigs a month or 2, whatever it is. But if you're always playing the same 30 minute set, like where, sure those songs will get better, but where are you pushing yourself in this guy? I mean, you guys are playing 10 new songs. Like
now I'm starting to memorize them.
Oh yeah.
Starting to memorize
The thing about
so it's like pushing yourselves artistically on all fronts.
Yeah, I think that
so hard.
It's hard, but at the end of each month, they're like, "Wow, this artist is amazing!" Like this, every artist is so different. So every time you come to a PitchBlak playlist, it's a whole different experience, And then we try to pick new songs for the jam, which is it's called PitchBlak playlist because we have like a playlist of songs, like covers, things we like or maybe the artist likes, and anybody's welcome to get up on them. But it's not just like there's a lot of sessions that happen usually. You go to gospel jam sessions, jazz jam sessions. It's like let's call a tune. It's like we don't really operate like that. It's a different setup. Everybody's still welcome to come on, but we want to present what we've been thinking out here, like or something we think is hot, something from your childhood. Something that you grew up with. Sometimes we even put some like oldies in there, like some soul things. What we do, like
James Brown
theme from Shaft. We always mix it up because we want to surprise people because we have a wide range of people in the audience. We play some of the older people in the audience who stuck around for some reason. They're like,
they get up and start yelling.
They yell at us.
Yeah.
They can't believe that we did. But then we play some underground hip hop like things, and people are like, did they just really play that old Jay-Z song? Like, I connected with, like, I never thought somebody would do that. Like, we just want to make people feel excited about music. It's like a celebration almost, like every month. Like, wow, we love music. We just want to immerse ourselves. And mostly importantly, it's about the community, building the community. People coming through and supporting each other, like local artists. Because a lot of, artists we work with have their own following, but it's always good to branch out and reach a new audience. And that's our goal as musical servants, or public servants. That's what we are. We're not stuck in a niche. We're like, oh, we only want these type of people to listen. We're like, nah. We're trying to reach as many people as possible because personally, I've been doing this my whole life. Like, I'm gonna gun for it, like to really make that impact on people. And so far, it's been going okay. We're excited to start this next year. Come out to that show, January 31st. We have like a triple threat of shows going on. We have our own original music at Brooklyn Bowl on the 26th. We have the PitchBlak playlist on the 31st. Then we have Pharaoh Monch's music, which we're presenting on February 4th.
And that's at Merkin Hall.
That's at Merkin Hall. So you get to see like 3 different sides of PitchBlak. Almost, which is exciting for me. Yeah. And we just always want to...
Which are very different to each other,
really
too.
very different.
Brooklyn Bowl, really big and open, and then Merkin, it's just like a concert hall.
Yeah.
Straight up, they're not going to pull the chairs out.
They're not pulling the chairs out. Yeah,
we're all
that's going to be
sit back
interesting.
with our glasses of Pinot and be like,
Satisfying.
Quite.
So you can't have that cigarette.
Fuck you, I'm smoking.
That's going to be real interesting.
But in addition, you're also working on a new album.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Do you not want to talk about that?
Well, I think we're working on a new album. We just are writing a lot of new music.
You're just like recording a bunch of stuff and then maybe?
And maybe choosing something that we recorded. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did this like whole retreat. We rented a house on Airbnb upstate. And we...
it was amazing.
We went there.
We flexed our creative juices.
We flexed our...
And our cooking skills.
Oh, man, cooking.
Oh, my God.
Tell them about the pork.
I'll tell you this. It was probably the best meals I've had. I don't know. They're just like, I don't know how we did it.
There's so much
amazing.
love in those meals. It was so good. And we sat at this huge table and just like had a fucking like the Last Supper.
Yeah, it was like
every meal.
night. Yeah.
So that might turn into an album,
Maybe.
but it
That
might,
was a chance for us to really get together, out of the city.
Which is
chill
so
out.
hard.
Present what we've been writing.
Okay.
It's more of a presentation to each other.
What we're thinking.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Everybody's so busy. It's New York City, man. It's the craziest city to like try to do anything.
Yeah.
You're just...
Or and even find some place to rehearse.
Yeah. The simplest things,
If we 10 of us meet in an apartment, it's going to just turn into a party, I guess.
Yeah. Every time. We're usually the last people. Any party we go to, we invite each other. We're the last people turning up. Everybody else is going home. It's pretty crazy.
First people, last people.
But we're working on an album, but mostly we're working on ideas, and we really I want and everybody else wants this album to be really awesome and really say something, to different than our last one. We want to step the F up and really do something creative. So we're taking a little bit more time. And I think that, for me, it's for me personally, it's always hard to take time for me. I just want to get stuff done.
That's with groups when you're recording an album, and I heard this, this guy who used to write for Spin magazine. He's great music critic, great TV critic, but he always says that you have your entire life to release your first album. All your life experiences, your hopes, your fears, dreams, whatever. But then that second album, you've got, 2 years. People are wanting, people are 2-3 years, these established acts. We're getting into 3 years since Kanye released his last album, and he's starting to release stuff, and people are like, oh, we need that album now. Come on, Kanye, what are you going to wow us with now? It's like, it can be so difficult to just take the time, make sure it's up to and better than what you have done before.
Exactly.
We want to give our fans the best possible product, so if we have to take time to do it, Like we will, and we have, you know.
And it's challenging to take that. For me, I know, because you know, Ben is kind of like he leads. It's certain people lead different things, so he's leading that project, and you know, I'm pushing him to like what's going on, and in honesty, we don't have those songs yet, and I want to hear us like individually write 5 more songs each. You know, and put that out there, and then listen to it, and like record it, and then be like, okay, let's use this one, let's do that. So like, but also I love being spontaneous, like in some sort of way, and maybe getting stuff that way. But like, yeah, I feel like the album is gonna come when it comes. You know what I'm saying? I really wish I would have hoped to release an album like in the next couple months, but that's just not gonna happen. But that's like my thinking. I always want stuff to just be out so that we can move on.
But on the good note, though, if you want to hear new PitchBlak music, we're always going to be trying to put something new in our show. So,
and you guys did put out a single last year.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the
put out a single a couple months ago too. Oh, that is last year.
Yeah, 2015. It's almost February, man. Come on. Yeah. No, and so people, want to listen to your music. I mean, it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. I'm assuming it's on like SoundCloud, Amazon,
everywhere.
All the things. So to find PitchBlak, that's PitchBlak.
Yep, that's right.
It's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
We're everywhere.
The website. Your website is just
PitchBlakBrassBand.com. Yeah.
And grab the album, grab the merch.
Please do.
Grab the merch.
We got some fresh merch. Please tell me.
We have some tie-dye merch. We got some black merch. We got some white merch. You know what I'm saying?
Just as diverse as the band.
Yeah, exactly.
But
we got a lot of stuff. Yeah.
We have Brooklyn Bowl 26.
So Brooklyn Bowl 26.
January 31st, Manhattan playlist.
Intimate PitchBlak.
It's gonna be awesome. And then February 4th, part of the Ecstatic Music Festival.
A
living
legend PitchBlak.
We're gonna be playing at Fairmont.
And that's at Merkin Hall, and that's on 67th Street in Manhattan.
Lincoln Center.
And Broadway, yeah.
So come out to those. Guys, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks for coming out in the storm.
Craziest snow day ever.
It's getting worse.
Build some snowmen. PitchBlak Brass Band, working on the brand. Someone and done, but we bring it back again. Put it down the first time, just so they understand. It's not only how you plan your work, it's how you work your plan. Cause once I saw the light, it's one love, it's one life, it's only done if done right. They're gonna say it anyway, let them say what they like. Cause what's the glory without a fight?